A very good morning to all the students of class 12th political science. And students, welcome back to the online classes. As we are having the regular classes and we have started with the revision of the first book, that is Contemporary World Politics, and in that I'm into the second chapter, that is the end of the bipolarity, and I'm trying to cover all the topics in detail once again for you all. So I'm into the second chapter, and second chapter I have completed, but only the additional topics which have been added for this particular session, I'm doing those additional topics. So most of those topics I have completed, but this topic is left, and this is a new topic. You will not find it in your book, so please write these notes also carefully, and this will be very helpful for you in the exam. So in this chapter only, end of bipolarity, I know, as I told you, that third chapter, that is US hegemony, that has been deleted, but some important topics have been merged with chapter 2. And after that, one additional topic is Middle East crisis, Afghanistan. So it is very important and relevant to the disintegration of USSR. As we have seen, USSR was into 10-year long wars. From 1979 to 1989, it was into war with Afghanistan, and this was one of the important factor of disintegration of USSR. So I think that is why this topic has been added to this chapter of End of Bipolarity, which is all about the disintegration of USSR. So in detail, we are going to study this region, Middle East crisis, Afghanistan. So I would also suggest you all, while I'm teaching this topic, you must all of you have a atlas or a map with you whenever I'm explaining this term and this location of this country, and why it is so important in the Central Asian or the Asian region. This country, this is a landlocked country, so this becomes important for you to understand through map. So before I tell you all the important details of this particular location and reason, I have told you why we are studying this topic and why this has been added up to the syllabus for this particular session. So let's start from the map point of view. So if you have map, please see it. So this is the location. If you have map, please open the map. So, and it is at the back of your book, you will find this map of your first book, that is Contemporary World Politics. A map has been given. So you can see this is Asian region, this is South Asia, India, Pakistan and Afghanistan. So we are to study about this region and why this region and this territory has been so important, not for in the current world, but from the very ancient and medieval period. If you see, there have been various kings and rulers who have tried to capture this region, but this is a very region of a very different terrain, because if you will see the physical map of Afghanistan, at the center region you will find the Hindu Kush mountains that covers around two-third area of the this territory, that is Afghanistan, and in the southern region you will find the desert region. So only around, I would say, 12 to 15% of the area is arable, where agriculture and other activities can be done, but otherwise the most of the region has a very difficult terrain, that is mountainous and desert. So central region is all covered with Hindu Kush mountains with small hills, peaks and mountains. So, and if you see this line between Afghanistan and Pakistan, this line is called Durand Line, which was formed in 1893 by British India. Previously, this whole region was called British India, as Pakistan was a part of India during the British, when we were a colony of British. So the region to separate region of Afghanistan and British India, a line was drawn by the Britishers, and that line is called by the person himself, Durand Line. Okay, so this line, as you see the border between Afghanistan and Pakistan, although this is not functional locally, this is not recognized now, as there is a free flow of transport, people and trade between Afghanistan and Pakistan now, and these are the internal matters of these two countries now. But previously this was a part of India, Pakistan. So Britishers had drawn a line so that there was a mutual understanding and proper trade relations and diplomatic relations between these two places, that Afghanistan Emirates and British India. So this is the historical part if we talk of Afghanistan. Now India shares its border with Afghanistan at this portion, but directly we are not into contact with Afghanistan, as this region is called as POK, Pakistan Occupied Kashmir. So we can say we are not into contact or into boundary line with Afghanistan now. And also, if you see, this region becomes important because if Afghanistan, this separates this whole region of South Asia and Southeast Asia from the rest of the world. So this region has been always playing an important role, and because of its location, geographical location, many activities which we will study in this book and in this lecture, all because of its location. See, it is in the crossroads. If you have to move from Central Asia to South Asia, you need to cross Afghanistan. If you want to move from South Asia or Southeast Asia to Western world or West Asia, you'll have to cross Afghanistan. Okay, so this is into the center, we can say. If you are coming center, or you're coming from south, or you're coming from west, so from central, west, south, so all the direction you need to cross this region of Afghanistan. That is why its geographical location has been very important, and this place has been very important from ancient and medieval period as well. Okay, so through map I have shown you the location, so it would be easy for you to understand the importance of this particular terrain, this region, this territory. And that is why now we are studying Middle East crisis. When we study about the Middle East crisis, this place Afghanistan becomes a very important location. The reasons I have told you, its geographical locations I have shown you. So let's study its location here, some points. It is called as Islamic Republic of Afghanistan. Okay, Islamic Republic of Afghanistan is a landlocked country. In the this map I have shown you, if you see in the western side, or if you see in the eastern side, southern side, north, you will find countries. It is in the southeast, if you see, this Pakistan, India. If you see in the western, you will find Iran. Okay, then you will, if you find see in the northern side, you will find the country like Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. So it is a landlocked countries where it is at the center, and all the countries are surrounding this region. So it is called landlocked country. It is located in a confluence of, it means it is a cross route where, if you have to move from west or central or South Asia, this region we will have to cross this particular region, that is Afghanistan. So that is why it is written, it is at the confluence of west, central and southern Asia. Only 12% land is arable. The reason for this being, as I told you, this Afghanistan, this is a place, it has a different terrain, where most of the central region of Afghanistan is covered by the Hindu Kush mountains, with the small hills, mountain peaks. Okay, and southern part of Afghanistan, it has a desert. So only 20% land is arable, where we can have agriculture or settled life. Because of that, there has been a very much problems of development. There are poor roads, all because of its different difficult terrain. Tribes, if you see the tribes of Afghanistan, which are the tribes which have been settled there, are Pashtuns. There was a 42%, this is the majority there. Tajiks, 27%. Uzbek and Hazara, these two tribes are only 19% each. So these are the important tribes which are living in Pakistan, this Afghanistan. So this is the historical background I'm telling you of this region, Afghanistan. So you must know the founder who founded this region. It was Ahmad Shah Abdali in the 18th century. Border between British India and Afghanistan, as I had explained you, the border which has been drawn between British India, when India was a colony of British, it was called British India. Pakistan was also under control of British. So there was a line between drawn between Afghanistan and British India, that was called Durand Line. It was formed in 1893. You need to please remember the name of the line between British India and Afghanistan. Whenever now I'm telling British India, it means it is including Pakistan also. So modern Afghanistan has seen three major wars. So now enough of the introduction of Afghanistan. So basically, before starting any topic, it was important to give you the map locations and geographical locations of the area, that is Afghanistan, which is under the topic, that is Middle East crisis. So now let's come up to the topic, what we are going to cover basically in this topic. So in this topic we are going to cover the three wars which have been fought by Afghanistan, and we are talking about modern Afghanistan, because as in this book, Contemporary World Politics, the topics which we are covering are after the Second World War, that is after 1945, after 1945. So we have to cover the incidents which have taken place after 1945. That is, we have to talk about the modern period or the contemporary period of Afghanistan. So if we talk about the modern Afghanistan, there have been three major wars. First is Soviet invasion 1979 and 1989. This about this topic, about this invasion and about this war, I have told you in the topic when we were discussing about the factors which were responsible for the disintegration of USSR. But anyways, here we will talk about this invasion and this war in detail. Then the second war which is important is Afghan civil war. Whenever using a word civil war means internal disturbance. There were internal factions or the groups within Afghanistan, and for the power and for controlling the resources and the government, there were various wars within Afghanistan. That is called Afghan Civil War. It is from 1989 to 1996. So if you see, for so many years, around 25 to 30 years, this region Afghanistan has been involved into war. So the atmosphere has been really very difficult for the people living there. Then we will study about Afghan War 2001. I hope you know this. What happened in 2001? There was a terrorist attack on America World Trade Center, where that was told that it was under the mastermind Osama bin Laden, and the terrorist group which was involved was said to be Al Qaeda and Taliban. So we have studied about this Operation Enduring Freedom, okay, which was started in 2001. After that attack, it was a response of US. So from that 2001, it was started, and in 2003 again. Then we saw there was Iraq invasion, and recently also these operations are continuously going on the region of Middle East. Okay. So first of all, not going to discuss this topic we have already covered. If we talk about the Iraq invasion, or if we talk about the 9/11 attack on America and its response back, where it captured and detained all the suspected terrorist groups, and their areas were captured. Okay, so we had discussed that thing, but the important thing which comes here is we have to discuss Soviet invasion 1979. Although this is one of the important factors which is responsible for the disintegration of USSR in 1991. But let's see what all happened in these 10 years. Okay, so before we start this war and this what happened, what was Soviet invasion, so let's see the background of this. In April 1978, so if we say before this, in 1978 April, the government of Daud Khan was overthrown in a coup. So previous to this Soviet invasion, there was a government of Daud Khan which was overthrown in a coup. The meaning of coup is, I have told you, Takhta Club, a sudden change in the atmosphere or in the politics or the political atmosphere of any country, or in the governance. So here I would say in the governance and the power, there was a sudden change or a sudden coup, where there was a government of Daud Khan, it was overthrown. And let's see, if Daud Khan was overthrown, which government came into power and what was the reason for that. So we can say after Daud Khan government was overthrown, there was, after this, the power came in the hands of leftist party. So there was a leftist party, and the name of the party is People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, PDPA, that is People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan. Please remember the name of this party, and this is the leftist party. And whenever there is a word leftist in India also, it means this party follows the ideology which was followed by Soviet Union, that is communism and socialism. Although not exactly the same, but the basic structure of the governance and the ideas and are the thoughts are the same as of Soviet Union. So this party, that was a leftist party, that is People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan, took over the control and power from Daud Khan. Okay, suddenly it was a coup. Why it was a coup? Because the new government with Soviet backing, because Soviet Union was backing and supporting this government. So this government, we would say, was a government of Soviet Union, because it was supported morally, financially, diplomatically by Soviet Union. Okay, that is why it's written the new government with Soviet backing introduced land and social reforms. So this new government, which was backed and supported morally and diplomatically by Soviet Union, it wanted to bring some land reforms and social reforms, okay, to this region of Afghanistan as soon as they came into power. But here the people of Afghanistan resented, means they revolted, they protested, they were against these land and social reforms. They did not wanted these type of land and social reforms or developments by these parties, because mostly the population that was Muslim and anti-communist, this population were opposing the rule of this government because they were following the ideology of leftist party, that is Soviet government. So here Muslims basically they wanted and they followed the rules regulation according to the Sharia code, that is rule regulations which every Muslim or Islamic country has to follow. But these land and social reforms were against these rules regulations of the Islamic world. So these were not accepted by some people who are Muslims and some people who are against the communist government. So these two group of Muslims and the people population which was anti-communist, which did not wanted to follow the functions, rules, regulations of this leftist party, they formed a group, and this group was called Mujahideens. Okay, so we'll study that here. What followed? So after all this, there was a protest against the or the opposition from these resentment from these Muslims and anti-communist parties population, that followed the call of jihad. If we call of jihad means a struggle or fight against enemies of Islam, as these people thought, Muslims and anti-communist population thought that this government was the enemy of Islam, who was bringing and promoting such reforms in the society which were against the Muslim Islamic world. So these people followed the call of jihad. It means they started a struggle against these people to protect and save Islam. And these people and this group was called Mujahideens. And the people involved are rural and urban. So if you talk about Muslims and anti-communist population, so it was from both rural areas also and urban areas also. So these people were involved fighting against this new government, that is People Democratic Party of Afghanistan. They participated in large number, and this group Mujahideens, which started a call of jihad to protect Islam, this group especially was backed by US. So clearly you can understand one group, that is this party PDPA. This party is being supported by USSR, and this Mujahideens were supported by US. So USA gave them a economic military support to Mujahideens to fight against the Soviet backed government. So these people were given various trainings, they were given arms, ammunition, and proper locations. Everything was provided by US and Pakistan and China and Saudi Arabia to Mujahideens. So there were a lot of supporters to support this group against the this party of Soviet backed party. So there started and there was unrest in the Afghanistan. There were two factions now. One factions which was run by the government, and they were bringing some social and land reforms, whereas the most of the population which was Muslim and some population which was anti-communist population, which did not wanted communist regime to start in Afghanistan, they did not wanted to follow these reforms. So they made a group which was called Mujahideens, and this was supported by US. Okay, so clearly we can see two factions, and there was unrest and the environment of war or a civil war against within Afghanistan. So this was the situation where the Soviet Union saw and realized that the situation was going under control, and government was unable to control Mujahideens and this non-Muslim population against the reforms. So here the Soviet Union thought and planned to invade Afghanistan themselves. So here we'll see invasion, that is here Soviet Union comes into action themselves, where they send their troops to control and annex and occupy this region of Afghanistan. These uprisings, so whatever the condition and environment were prevalent in Afghanistan between Mujahideens and the government backed by USSR, So these upbringings, along with the infightings and coup within the government, prompted the Soviet to invade the country. So finally, Soviet thought to invade the country on the night. You have to remember, on the night of 24th December 1978. Soviet Union invades Afghanistan. As soon as Soviet army invades, which is also called the Red Army of the Russia, which is the most powerful army I have already explained you in the world at this particular time, they invaded Afghanistan, and easily they captured all the important cities, towns which were previously captured and by Mujahideens. So it's written here, with nearly 1 lakh troops, Soviet controlled all major cities, all the important cities, towns, places of Afghanistan were controlled by and annexed by the Soviet Union, Soviet army. But the Mujahideens were not captured easily by this Soviet army, as these Mujahideens, they spread throughout the country. If you remember the train now, the train was at the center region of Afghanistan was covered by Hindu Kush mountains, and the southern was covered by the desert. So these Mujahideens are well trained and very well trained to adjust to these difficult terrains of Afghanistan. So as soon as Soviet controlled all the cities and towns, these Mujahideens spread and they hid themselves to the separate places throughout the country. All around the country, these Mujahideens, they hid themselves, they were hiding, and they were fighting a guerrilla war. So they started guerrilla tactics, as this group was very well trained in the guerrilla war. Guerrilla war is a type of a war where oppositions are hiding and fighting. They are attacking, not coming in front, but from the behind they are attacking. So it was a huge guerrilla tactics and huge support from US, and this region of Mujahideens and these guerrilla tactics, US, Saudi Arabia, and Pakistan, China were continuously supporting them morally, financially, militarily. All the equipments and all the facilities were provided to this group against this fight of USSR. So we can say there was all environment of war and unrest in Afghanistan, where USSR or the Soviet army was directly into confrontation, into war with Mujahideens. So there was a guerrilla war going on for a long period of time, for many years. Various warlords or the groups like, or a terrorist group like Taliban, Al Qaeda, emerged in 1980s. This is a time where in Afghanistan these terrorist group emerged, Taliban and Al Qaeda, with the US providing weapons and support. And along with this, US was continuously providing weapons and moral and political support to USSR, and also Pakistan was also supporting this war of USSR or the Soviet Union and the Mujahideens continuously. So this became a dawn, was a dawn to a bloody stalemate. Stalemate means there was a continuous war for so many years, and no one was losing the war, no one was leaving a country. So continuously they were into war. So that is why it is called bloody stalemate. Okay. So finally, after so many years, as I told you, this war went for around 10 years, and in 10 years, there was so much of economic losses. If we talk about Soviet army, as Mujahideens were supported by Pakistan, US, China, Saudi Arabia, so they were continuously doing the guerrilla war. They had no issues with it. And but Soviet, as we have read in one of the important factors of its disintegration was the economic losses because of this war for long 10 years. So, as we have also read when we were talking about Mikhail Gorbachev and the disintegration, as he became the president in 1985, as a part of his reforms, as we have told that he wanted to be a reform, make economic and political and social reforms, okay, in this region of Soviet Union. He announced the gradual withdrawal of the Soviet troop. He announced that now we will withdraw the Soviet troops, we will call all the troops army of Soviet Union back from Afghanistan. We do not want more this war to go on, as there has been already so much of economic losses, loss of life and property and arms, ammunition, everything has been so much used in this war. So now we will withdraw our troops back to our countries from Afghanistan. This was decided by Mikhail Gorbachev when he became the president in 1985. So you have to remember, this war had already started from 1979, and this was the time 1985. So by 1986, Soviet backed government, as there was always previously also there was Soviet government, but before Soviet left the country, they had another government which in 1986, which was under Muhammad Najibullah came to power. So there was again the same government of Afghanistan, but now the leader was Muhammad Najibullah. But 1989, all Soviet troops left the country. But by 1989, all the Soviet troops left the countries. So when the Soviet troops left the countries, there was a Afghanistan civil war from 1989 to 1996. About this second war we will study in the second video. Till here we have to study about the Soviet invasion. It was all about the Soviet invasion, which went on for around long 10 years, because this is also one of the reasons for its disintegration, because lot of economic loss, loss of life and property has been inculcated in this particular war. So we'll study the next war, that is Afghan civil war. Just after the Soviet Union has withdrawn its forces, troops back from Afghanistan, there was a civil war. As I told you, civil war means there were the internal factions, differences between people for to control the power and government in their hands. So that we'll study in the next video. You go through these videos and write the notes properly, because this you will not find in the book. Thank you so much.